What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Next Deal podcast. I am your host, Justin Dossie, as always, joined by my lovely co-host, Vince.
Yo.
Today, we have a very exciting episode for you guys with a couple of our friends, Don and Janelle. They are virtual investors. They actually live in Hawaii right now, so it's 8 a.m. their time, I'm guessing, for recording. So they got up early for us. But super excited to have them on here. They've been kind of investing since 2019, mostly do wholesaling, but they're moving into some flips this year. And they're just great people to know. They're always a fun time to be around them. And super excited to have them on here and learn a little bit more about virtual wholesaling, kind of what they're doing. So Don and Janelle, thank you so much for showing up today. How are you guys?
Good. Thanks so much for having us. We're excited to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. So we were talking a little bit beforehand, but how much do you guys love Hawaii?
Oh my gosh. It's the best.
A little.
Yeah,
just a smidge.
We weren't sure how much of a difference it was going to be coming from SoCal. We thought it was going to be fairly similar, but no, this is just way better. The beaches are better here. We can surf without a wetsuit, so that's super nice. And the weather's just way better than in LA. So not as cold.
Yeah. That's very true. And it's hard to, if you've never been to Hawaii, which Vince, I don't think you've been to Hawaii, have you?
Haven't been to Hawaii.
Oh my gosh, you can visit.
Yes, you'll have to go.
As soon as my children will allow me to, I will.
He's only got 5 of them, so just a little bit to work through. But no, it's funny. Like I've visited a bunch of other places, like Mexico, Jamaica, things like that, and it's just it doesn't compare to Hawaii. The water, the beaches, the weather, it's on another level there.
Yeah. It really is.
It's definitely the one place that I definitely want to get to for sure.
Yeah, there's so many of our friends have a bunch of little kids. I think we're one of the only couples that don't have kids yet here. Everyone else has kids from like 3 to 12. Like that's like the range. And everyone has 3 to 5 kids. And one of our friends has 8 kids. So
when we get together, there's a lot of them.
A lot of them. So it's very friendly. So bring your kids along.
Yeah. Is anybody calling you Uncle Don or Aunt Janelle yet?
Yep.
100%.
Everybody.
She's Auntie.
Yeah. And that's just kind of the lingo here too. Like if someone's older than you, you just call them auntie or uncle, even if they're not that.
It's truly like the Ohana, like that. That's real. The Lilo and Stitch thing. That's 100%.
Yeah.
Like if you're in the grocery store and you need help, like I'll just say, Auntie, do you know where this is? If they're working there, and it's just what you do.
That's cool. Yeah, I don't think I knew that.
Yeah.
That's super cool. Mm-hmm. And how'd you get started? How are you at where you're at now?
Well, I actually started out as a realtor, and Don was a mortgage broker for a little while. That's kind of how we got our start into real estate in general. And then I really did not like being an agent. Because the whole point of us getting into real estate to begin with was we really wanted to just live life on our terms, not really on just like the normal life that everyone says you're supposed to live coming out of college, that kind of stuff. But we were working evenings, we were working weekends, we were working all the time. So I started to get more flipping clients or just investor clients, and they were looking for flip type properties and that kind of stuff. And that's what kind of piqued my interest into the investment space. And then I found bigger pockets and started to dive deeper into that rabbit hole. We didn't have very much money when we started in real estate, and we were pretty just newly married poor people like usual. So,
been there.
Yep. So we didn't have a lot of money to invest. So investing in Southern California just didn't seem that possible. So that's what made us look into the out-of-state investing. And so in 2019, when we were looking on bigger pockets, we found a deal in Indy and in Indianapolis area, and on the bigger pockets marketplace. We ended up buying it from a wholesaler, and we bird it, and that was our first deal. So that kind of led us into the investing space, into long-term rentals. We scaled really quickly after that. We bought 18 units within our first 16 months of doing it, just using private money, some of our own money, cash out refis, that kinds of stuff. And then we realized that we needed, I think, another like 20 to 30 units to actually retire us. So that's what made us switch into more of the active income side of things. And that's how we found wholesaling, Ryan, and CCF. So, and then it was kind of downhill from there.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. And So you guys originally, when you were doing stuff virtually, are you still in the same two markets that you started in?
Yes, so we are still in in the
Okay.
Indianapolis area. We still wholesale there. We're starting to flip there more, and we still buy rentals there as well. And then we had some friends bring us to the Cincinnati area. They wanted help with some marketing and finding more deals, and they knew that we were part of CCF and did a lot of direct mail. So they're like, "Can you help us find deals and just start marketing here?" We did, and I think they moved out of the Cincy market. They're more in like the Atlanta, Augusta, Georgia area now.
Okay.
But we stayed because we had so much marketing out already there and started to build connections. So, yeah, so now a majority of our business is done in Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. I'm curious because I've never done a virtual deal, not once. That's something that terrifies me because I know nothing about it. It's
Not
not
that bad.
something that, yeah, I would imagine once you have a process for it, it's probably pretty doable. But how does that differ for you guys compared to someone who might live in Cincy, right? Like what are those differences?
Yeah.
Definitely having a trustworthy team has been kind of the crux of our operation. So, I mean, our first few deals we bought without ever seeing, and that was definitely a big leap of faith. We got a little bit lucky, like finding good contractors and like a pretty decent agent at the time too. That kind of there were checks and balances in place. Like the realtor would check on the contractor would again make sure agent's doing his job too. So it was nice to have those. And it's funny. We were doing the right things though from the beginning. Like we were getting good referrals from trustworthy sources. Like for contract, like we haven't had. I think only once or twice we've had contractors just like leave mid job, and that was from our own personal network. Wasn't even from a referral, which is interesting. So yeah, we were applying just good tactics from the get go, and but yeah, team has been super important for our investing journey with being out of state.
Yeah, you just have to trust people. And I think that's the hardest part because there's a lot of untrustworthy people in the business. So, but I think what's cool about doing this virtually though is that I think everyone is trying to get to the point where they don't have to go physically to the property. They don't have to go in person to sign the docs or like anything like that. And doing it virtually, you're forced to build out your systems and your team to be able to get to that point. So I think it does take a little bit more time because obviously compared to somebody in Cincinnati, right? They're probably getting a lot more deals than we are because they have the face-to-face communication with the seller and the buyers and all the networking that they can do that we can't being away. But they're at the end of the day, they're still trying to build their business model to look like ours. Just they're doing it a little bit different and slower than what we have done it at. So yeah, there's pros and cons to it for sure.
Okay, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
With that, so I know, like you said, having trustworthy people there, do you have actual like team members in that market, or is it more like your contractors, your realtors, people that you work with in that market? How does that work for you guys?
Yeah, so it varies for sure because we have some people that we pay per deal to help us take pictures, walk buyers through, sometimes meet with the sellers, sometimes not. So for deals like that, like if they're taking pictures and helping us with the buyers, then we'll give them fees and kind of cut them into the deal a little bit. Or we'll just JV and partner with other wholesalers in the area and have them either pitch our deal, walk people through, or whatever. Or if we're having trouble with a lead and they really want to meet the person there and talk to them or whatever, then we'll partner with a trustworthy wholesaler that we're friends with out there, and we'll just split the fee and do the deal together.
Mm-hmm. So really only like one employee is what we have, but the rest are like vendor contacts and that almost work in a partnership fashion though, because they know we're going to be doing a lot of deals and they're like, our agents get the listing every time. Our contractor is going to get the job every time as long as the bid comes in like normal. Like we know his prices and he's been really consistent and comes with a lot of great referrals too.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. So you guys have that network and that rapport built with those people to where you know you can rely on them. If
exactly, and most
you can
of
rely
it
on them,
can
they can
be
rely on you, and it kind of goes both ways.
Like over remote and like social media and phone calls. Like you can do 80 to 85% of that rapport building and gauging trust. And then I will say the caveat to out of state investing, like if you're going to be spending like $500K to $1 million, like in buying houses, you know, over the course of a year, half a year, whatever, like, dude, buy a plane ticket, like go out, visit the market, go just like, come on. So it's like that's been a big, I think, difference with us is we've met these people in person. We'll go out, we'll buy them a beer and just like hang out, talk, and get to know each other as like people. And so there's less of a chance that like, hey, they're gonna screw me over just because it's like, I know Don and Janelle, they're real people. Like, they're not just like calls and emails. So
right. They're not someone who just hit me up and I'm hoping that it works out.
Yeah, exactly. And when we do that, they do say that investing in the Midwest markets, there's a lot of out-of-state investors that invest there, right? So with us going there, they say that has made us stand out from a lot of their other investors because most out-of-state investors don't go visit their market. So they're only communicating with their team over a phone call or text. Like they don't even do Zooms, FaceTimes, anything like that. So they're like, the fact that you took the time out here to come and talk to me in person just means a lot. So, and I know you're real people, like genuine people that are actually going to do what you say since you actually came out here, like you said you would. So, I would say that's a big thing to do if you want to invest out of state. Just go visit your market, go see your team, give them some stuff, you know, like buy them lunch or take them to a drink or something like that. It goes a long way for sure.
That's cool. Yeah, but I mean, it's only, it's a 9-hour flight. It's a long flight, but it's only 9 hours to go out there, or 10 hours. I don't know how far it is to Ohio for you guys, but I flew from Chicago to Hawaii last time I went, and that was 10 and a half hours straight.
It's longer now. I will say we only have been once in the year that we played, but California, like Indianapolis specifically, we were going out
probably once a quarter.
Yeah, once a quarter, because my family's living in the Chicago Indy area, so we would go out. Then meet with the team and check projects and stuff like that. So it was like 2 birds, 1 stone kind of deal. But
a little more traveling now, but it's probably worth it. That's cool.
So with the time difference, you guys have like a set, communication schedule with the people that are over in Cincy and Indiana, like, hey, don't hit us up in the morning unless it's like a straight up emergency or,
Yep. Our team knows that we probably won't answer the phone until around 10:30 Cincinnati time.
I've never like told them like don't call me, like and I have like iPhone, they have like sleep mode, and like if you call like 3 times or something, then it like goes through. So like if there's like a closing or like a big event that's happening, like Lowe's order pickup or something, like I'll be up earlier for that.
You already know about it.
And they'll usually tell us the day before, like, hey, I'm going to Lowe's, going to the store, whatever, because we usually order all of our materials just over the phone. So our contractor will go pick up all the stuff, place the order with Lowe's, and then we'll pay for it just with our Lowe's credit card or whatever. And so he'll tell us like, hey, I need these items tomorrow morning to start the job or whatever. So we'll either pay for them the night before or just get up early in the morning, run the card, and so we usually work it out. We'll schedule it in for sure.
What's nice about Maui, and I think Hawaii specifically, but especially Maui, it's a very much a morning type community. Like people go to bed like 9 p.m. It's called Maui midnight around here. So they're asleep and there's nothing really to do past 9 anyway. So usually go to bed around 10 and then wake up around like 4:30 and then start the day earlier. So that's helped with the already early time change structure. So
got it. That makes it easy when everyone else is doing that already.
Yep. And a lot of people work not Hawaiian hours, right? They're working usually East Coast or something like that. So literally everyone on island is on our time schedule as well. So it's not that bad. We're not missing out.
Yeah. That's cool.
So when you guys got to Hawaii, and I mean, did you know anybody previously going to Hawaii that you knew that like, hey, I can get in contact with somebody, get the tour of the city and things like that? And I know you've got a great group of friends now, but what did that look like kind of going there?
Yeah. So one of the main reasons why we decided to move here was because we had some friends that worked in the hotel industry from high school, and we stayed in touch with him. And when he would go back to the mainland for vacations and stuff, he would say that we could come and stay at his house, use his car for like a month, and just hang out on island and house sit for him. So we would do that, and we fell in love with the island. And so that's what really made us want to move here, was when we did that. And then he was friends with a guy named Micah. And Micah is Brandon Turner's CFO for one of his companies, for Open Door Capital. And
Cool.
so Micah kind of got us in touch with all the other investors on island. And even just through social media too, we've been in contact with Zasha and Tereva and all those girls from social that live on Maui. So we've really been able to establish a good investor friend group on island, which has been super cool. And we also all go to the same church. So every Sunday we literally see each other at church. Then we go to the beach together. Fridays we do this thing called Aloha Fridays, which is just a big dinner at Brandon's house or another investor's house, Megan Ahern, and we'll just all hang out together. So it's been a really fun community
cool.
to get to know and just brainstorm with and just do life with.
And it's cool because a lot of the people are in the same boat where like they moved to Hawaii to kind of live out that dream of theirs. But again, a lot of people, their family is still on the mainland, like their mom, dad, and extended family. So like you don't have that family culture here as far as like extended, but so you basically become each other's family. And like we've gotten super close with a bunch of people out here too. And yeah, it's been really cool to be able to experience that and be a part of it. Super blessed.
Yeah. It's funny that over in Hawaii, you guys call it the mainland. So, I'm from Alaska, and, we called it the lower 48, which is dumb because you're missing a state, like, or they call it the states. But it's just kind of funny, what people, mainly it's called the lower 48 when you're up in Alaska, but I like the mainland. That's funny.
That's funny. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah. We have some friends that are from Alaska, and I don't.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we have a few that have moved down here.
There's a lot of people that live in Hawaii during the winter months from Alaska, and then when it's summer, they go back to Alaska.
Yeah.
They're like, we only want it to be nice weather. That's it.
Yeah. We call it. They're called Blue Jays. Is what they. Yeah.
Okay. So that's not snowbirds. They're Blue Jays.
Blue Jays.
Got it. Yeah. In the Midwest, when everyone goes to Florida for the winter, they call them snowbirds.
Oh yeah.
That's funny.
Oh, that's great. Well, cool. So right now, you guys are mostly wholesaling, right? Moving into doing some flips.
Mm-hmm.
How do you manage a flip virtually? Like that, I'm sure there's a way you do that to track that. Like I know doing a flip in the city I live in is a little challenging sometimes. So what does that look like for you guys when you're managing something virtually?
Yeah, so that's my role. So I handle all of our marketing and construction, rehab, all that kind of stuff. He handles any direct to seller type things, wholesaler outreach, and our rentals. And so for our flips, basically we rely heavily on our contractor and our realtor. So our realtor will walk all the properties for us that we're interested in buying to flip. And usually when they do that, they know that they're going to get the listing back once we're done with it. So they're fine doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's from a wholesaler, they'll still do that. And usually we'll just give them a little fee for it or something if they help us with the purchase. And then they run comps and all that stuff for us to make sure that we're solid. And then once construction starts, our contractor and agent, they usually have a relationship as well. And they're talking about the renovation, how long timeline's going to be, that kinds of stuff, so that we get a gauge on the right ARV as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then throughout the renovation, our realtor will go to the property probably like bi-weekly, I would say, just to make sure things are moving along. And that kind of keeps our contractor accountable to stay on target and on timeline. And it gives us another set of eyes to make sure that what he's saying is actually happening. So, and then our contractor will also send us picture and video at the end of the week. So that letting us know what's happened, the things that came up, what didn't come up, what needs to be done the following week, any purchases that we need to make, all that kind of stuff. So we're all kind of just like doing this dance together to get the flip to the finish line. So, and then they usually FaceTime me at the property just to make and walk me through it, just to show me what's been done, what's going on, and any problems that arise. So, yeah.
It helped to, excuse me. Gosh, man. It helped when we first started using this contractor, seeing his past projects as well. And then we would even use like some of his past projects and other comps in the area because he's pretty connected and he knows the other investors doing these flips. Hey, it's like, hey, I want it to look like this one, maybe scaled down a little bit and or with these finishes. So, and by doing that, it gives him a good idea of how big we're going on the rehab versus like a rental grade or something.
Right. And then right before construction starts, usually right before we close escrow on the property, throughout escrow, I will give him an idea of what I'm looking for in this project, what kind of flip, if it's a full gut, the materials that I want to use, all that kind of stuff. I'll give him my vision for it. But right before we close escrow, I will usually go over I usually make like a Canva PowerPoint type of situation thing. And I will go room by room and show him the before and after of what I expect. I'll put every single material that I want to use in the property for each slide for each room so that he knows exactly what I'm seeing and what I want in the property. So there's no messing up, because I've had that happen to me a lot where I had one contractor put black outlet covers on things. I'm like, why? He's like, because you said black grout, so I thought you just wanted black for everything. I was like, that doesn't make sense, but perfect.
That's crazy.
So now I make sure that everything is written down, and I just give him my exact vision for literally everything: tile, paint, flooring, fixtures, vanities, everything is on this template, this PowerPoint, so that he can then go back and reference it too if he needs to figure out if something needs to be switched out. He'll look at the PowerPoint and be like, okay, so you want this, that's not in stock, so let's go with this instead, or something like that. And that has helped a lot with communication.
So I freaking love Canva. I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah, we use it all the time.
Do you mind sharing that template with me?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I would love to see what you're doing with it, because like I'm a Canva dork. I love it so much.
Anytime I have questions, I'm like, Vinny, help me. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I love it. And it's super helpful. It just makes everything crystal clear. So there's no like miscommunications with the flip or anything. Because I'll do exterior, interior, like everything. Everything is on this template so that they know exactly what I want.
It's visual. So, it's not words. No room for interpretation.
Right. It's like this. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
I love that the one guy chose black outlet covers because of the black grout. Like, it's supposed to be an accent piece, not an entire theme.
Right. I'm like, what is that? Like, how did that even translate? I don't understand.
Like, I'm an emo kid at heart, but like, that's a little bit.
This is the second podcast in a row we brought out the Justin emo.
We did. It was funny. We just an hour before this, we recorded one with Tara Fernandez, and she did not know that I used to be an emo kid in high school. So we pulled up all my pictures from high school and all that fun stuff. So yeah, it was entertaining.
Did you guys see that there's an Emo's Not Dead cruise? It's 4 days at sea. I did. Mayday Parade was there. Yellow Card was there. Story So Far. I'm like, what is going on?
Dang, it already happened. That's fantastic.
Yeah. It's happening again next year.
So Susie and I are going to Death Cab, and who else is going to be here? Death Cab for Cutie, and gosh, why am I blanking?
You should know these things, Vinny.
I should totally know these. But anyways, they're coming in May, and we're going to be there.
Nice.
We're like just freaking excited about it.
We bought tickets last year for the When We Were Young Fest when they had that out in Vegas. Yeah. And it was like all of the bands I listened to in high school and like had seen tons of times. And I think our tickets were for Saturday, and the winds were so high on Saturday, they canceled the concert. I was like,
I remember that.
I spent
My
like
heart's going for you.
five grand being here, like
Dude, I
all
do
this
remember you
time.
posting that.
That's
Yeah.
Dude, I was so mad. I was like, cool, I guess we're just gonna get drunk all day and just putter around Vegas.
Dude, in high school, I used to go to all the Vans Warp tours.
Oh yeah,
here
same.
at Riverport and stuff. And
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Wait, this year we were young. You guys should both go because we will be there.
We will be there.
And
Okay.
they're doing every band that is playing a full album of theirs. So like
Ooh.
like My Chemical Romance is playing the Black Parade.
there you go.
Canadian Parade's playing like that their main album that Jamie All Over's on. Like
Miserable at
Yeah.
Best.
Under Oath is playing. Like
Sleeping
Okay.
with Sirens. Pierce the Veil.
All my favorites.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
One of my favorite concerts I ever went to was when Under Oath came back and like started doing stuff again, and they played They're Only Chasing Safety in its entirety and Define the Great Line in the same show, and it was like 2 hours of them playing nonstop. I was like, this is the best concert ever.
That's
was
awesome.
wonderful.
relive that dream of yours.
Yeah.
Come
Yeah,
October or whatever this year.
I got to look at the dates, but I'm very
There's going to be a huge real estate community there.
Yeah.
Brandon bought out like
I think you bought out 10 cabanas or something like that. You
Oh,
bought
really?
40 VIP tickets. Yeah.
oh nice.
Yeah. And so I think everyone from Maui's going to that, and we're just hanging out. So there'll be a big
That'll be
real
fun.
estate
like we're
community
paying for our own ticket. Let's just throw that
Right,
out there.
right.
Yeah. We still bought our ticket.
We're
By
not
the
that
way,
close yet.
Postal Service. They just came to me. Postal Service in Death
Oh,
Cab.
yeah.
Oh, nice.
Ah, there you go.
Dude, one of the best concerts I've ever went to was Jimmy World open for Weezer and
Ooh,
Tenacious
fun.
D. And Tenacious D.
And
was there.
Tenacious D.
Tenacious D, Jimmy, and Weezer, freaking amazing. Like
That's hilarious.
amazing.
That's great.
And
I love
Jimmy's
that.
one of my all-time favorite bands. You know,
Yeah. They're great.
Real estate investors love pop punk. It's a
They
fact.
Yeah. Well, I feel like we're all similar ages, like age
Mm-hmm.
range anyway. So it's like we all kind of grew up listening to the same stuff is, is what I've found anyway.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah, I was taking my kids to school the other day, and Quinn, who's 13, she loves Taylor Swift and things like that. But I had some 90s music playing, and Avril Lavigne came on.
Oh.
And on my car, it kind of showed her as kind of the punk, and she's like, "Who's this?" And I was like, "This was my absolute crush in
Yeah.
high school. That's who this is."
Yep.
That's who this is. That's
Like I was going to marry this person, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, she got the guy, that weirdo on Sum 41.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny.
Oh man.
That's what we got to change this to, just real estate and punk now.
Real estate and music. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's funny. I still listen to all the same bands I listened to in high school. Like nothing's changed. It's like
Nope.
it's that or like 90s, early 2000s hip hop is most of what's on my Spotify.
Mhm.
Same. I don't stray very far.
Yeah. Well, cool. What we'll go back to some real estate stuff, I guess, in case people are done hearing us talk about music. But so doing virtual wholesaling, I always love good stories or virtual flipping, whatever. I gotta imagine you guys have some good stories of just crazy stuff that's happened on some virtual deals. Do you have anything like that to share?
Yes. Which one? There's I feel like every deal that we've done has some type of problem. Like one
Yeah, I
we
feel
have
like I
right
see
now,
some on
a virtual
social
deal.
that
It's a
you post.
JV deal that we're doing.
Yeah.
With the guy, there's 10 people that need to sign. 10 for the seller. We're
Oh.
like, well, this is gonna be fun.
And I so we got the deal. I found the buyer, and I'm like, oh yeah, no, title's gonna be fine. Again, my partner assured me that there's no issues on it. And then I call the title company. I'm like, hey, so I heard there's a couple people that need to sign. He's like, dude, there's 10. There's 10. And I'm like, this is gonna take forever.
We're not closing this deal.
So, but I think we're on track.
No kidding.
Talked with the partner. It's already been through probate, so that's should be fine. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
But
And then we had another deal that was so funny. It was in not a great part of Indy. and we were wholesaling. We were wholesaling.
Beach Grove action.
No, what
worse.
was it?
Martindale Brightwood.
Martindale Brightwood.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tuxedo Park.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And we kept having these people break into the property. It was vacant. And they kept claiming that they owned it. So when we called the cops that there was a break-in, they would say like, no, we own this house. And we're like, no, you don't own this house. You don't own it. And the cop's like, I don't know who to believe. So there's nothing we can do. We're like, they don't own it. Like they were adamant that their grandmother owned it or something like that.
Yeah. And the seller and this lady were like beefing. Like, so like, what happened?
So she would put her like nephew and stuff into this house, and she would just break into it because
she would charge them rent too on top of that. And then basically it's like squatters, but they're paying someone else. We even like and there's there was no water,
no electricity, no utilities on at all.
And so they're paying rent.
Like, using the bathroom wherever they want.
Like,
they had a dedicated room for that.
Yeah.
I actually went and visited a home like that. It's straight hoarder house, but they had a dedicated room for pooping.
Ew.
Like it was.
I don't understand. I don't get it.
So disgusting.
It's so disgusting. So we ended up still closing. We closed on that house. Our buyer just.
Well, the solution was we did cash for keys. I paid $950 to get the squatters out, to get them to the next. I had my buddy, my boots on the ground. He literally like helped them rent a U-Haul.
Our JV partner, he had to drive the squatter, to the U-Haul place to get a U-Haul. We paid for the stupid U-Haul so that they could get their stuff out of the house.
I'm organizing the majority of this, like walking along Waikiki. Like too. This was our first deal in Hawaii. And I'm just like, I hate my life. And the assignment fee ended up being like $1,000 for each person. It was heartbreaking.
Oh no.
I was just like,
it was the worst.
I want to quit
for all that work.
I'm a scuba instructor, just like Justin's parents. Like,
yeah. There you go.
I love
you're in
about
the place
you too,
to
like,
do it.
Yeah.
So
I love about you too, is just like how you're like laughing and smiling at it, and you're like, this is it, this is the business, and you move on.
Yeah It's part of it.
It is part of it, and it's just funny. I mean, like, it's so ridiculous. Even saying those things out loud is like the most ridiculous story, so you have to laugh at it. Imagine if you didn't, you just pissed off all the time. Like, this isn't like a one-off thing, right? Like weird stuff like that happens all the time. So you just have to find the humor in it and learn from it, learn from your mistakes, and then just move on to the next deal.
Some of the best real estate investors that I know have a terrific, cynical sense of humor. Mm-hmm. Like our buddy, actually he's in your market, Justin, Cameron Cathcart. Do you know him? Have you heard of him? Yeah. So Cam literally closed on a property like 2 weeks ago. And according to the city, there's no house there.
It doesn't exist.
Like, so it's physically he's like,
that sounds like St. Louis.
Yeah. I bought a house that doesn't exist. I'm like, elaborate. And basically like it was like a new build, but they didn't pull any permits. They said they permitted it, but nothing was on record. Nothing was filed.
The city didn't have it recorded. So there was a built house, but no permitting for it or anything like that. No papers for it. So it like didn't exist.
Huh. So like on paper, this is not there.
No, right. It's just dirt.
Crazy.
You bought dirt. So yeah.
Dude, Justin, there's a house over by Kirkwood High School. It's probably a 6,000 square foot house.
Okay.
That they built it and they were like a foot into the other property, and Kirkwood would not allow anyone to move into it. So it's this mansion that sits vacant right by. It's insane
because of that 1 foot.
1 foot, dude.
That's
It's all boarded up, and there's like, for more information on this house, and it's like unfair and this and that. It's been on the news and stuff. It's crazy.
Jeez. Wow. And that person in that house is like, that's right. You're not moving in there anytime soon.
Yep.
That's
1 foot.
That's crazy. Yeah, St. Louis has some weird stuff with like record keeping or stuff like that. Like we had one it was a condo, and it was in Maryland Heights, which is St. Louis County, but it's like right on the border of St. Louis City, like right where this condo was. And like every time, because we had to pull permits for I don't remember, we had to pull permits, but they always pointed us to the other person. Like St. Louis City sent us to St. Louis County. St. Louis County sent us to St. Louis City, because they're like, no, that's not our property. That's not our property. That's their property. And it was like back and forth like 4 times. We're like, one of you has to have this property. Like I mean, they weren't saying it didn't exist, but they're like, no, it's not our jurisdiction. And we're like, okay, well, what about the condo next door? What about these ones? Where are these all in there? And it was like someone didn't update something in their records to show that it was a St. Louis City, or no, St. Louis County one. But because it's so close, it was so annoying. It was just phone call after phone call. Like, we've been back and forth like 5 times now. Stop sending us back and forth, please.
Yeah. And that's like basically what we've learned with doing this for a little while now. It's like there's almost always a solution. You just have to find it. Right. And it may not be easy to find, but if you keep at it, you'll eventually be able to sell that house or sell the property or whatever. Get the solution that you need. It just might take a little bit of time. So it's just the persistence, really. But that's real estate in general, just persistence and consistency anyways. So
yeah. So many ways to solve. That's what's cool about real estate, is you can get real creative with it.
Right.
A lot more creative than you can in other businesses.
Right. And it's pretty forgiving too. Like if you mess up, like you could make it up on the next deal. Like you won't always just go completely bankrupt like you could in other industries or other business models or whatever. Like there's always ways to make your losses.
That's a good point.
Nice.
That's a really good point.
Mm-hmm.
I think they froze.
That's all right. We're back now.
Oh, we're back. Okay.
It's all good. We'll edit it. So I think, do you have a question, Vinny?
I did. I want to go back to the fix and flips. And so you mentioned Lowe's a couple of times. That you guys probably have like a set, like, you know what things cost there. You can really kind of, budget out what you're going to do on your flips, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. And I mark down every SKU number and every product that we use and purchase, because I'll usually just use the exact same thing on the next project. Maybe just switch out a few fixtures just to make it a little bit more unique in a way, depending on the area that we're flipping in and what buyers look for in that neighborhood. But overall, the template is usually the same. So, and that's one of the reasons why we also use like the bigger stores like Lowe's, Home Depot, even Floor and Decor or something like that, because usually if the product that I want is not in stock, they'll have something very similar to that. Or if they discontinue it or whatever, they'll have something very similar to what I'm looking for. And when we would buy materials from the smaller kind of mom and pop shops, usually my product would be gone within like a few months. So especially for our rentals, if I tried to buy flooring from that same spot again to replace flooring, it just didn't exist anymore. So I had to completely redo the floors, and so that it matched and it looked janky. So I'm like, forget it. I'm just buying from the bigger retailers, and just to make sure that everything is there that I need. So
and with Lowe's specifically, because we ended up getting like an MVP Pro account, so like we get cash back on purchases, and you can basically enter your quotes. Like you basically build the order online, change it to a quote, and then there's like volume discounts, so you can see the actual lowest price that they can do on these items. And especially this project, I've ended up getting a relationship with our guy at the pro desk, which is cool. So I have his cell phone number. So I'm gonna be like, hey, like we actually need to pick up these items.
Oh, that's cool.
Just deliver. So he's like, no problem, bud. Like it makes the actual ordering process a lot easier and a lot smoother. So
that's really cool. Have you guys ever set up the like construction, nanny cams at your flips?
No, not yet.
I have not.
But we wanted to start using Company Cam or something like that, just because now we have.
That's Company Cam, isn't it?
Yeah, Company Cam. I think we have 3 or 4 flips going on in Cincinnati right now. So, or we're just starting one. I don't remember. Something like that.
We have 3 active ones in Cincinnati. One's finishing up, and 2 have kind of just started construction. Okay. So I know, and we want to scale more from there. So getting a couple more systems to help us get to that next level is going to be needed in the near future.
Yeah, because our goal is 48 deals this year, a mix of wholesales and flips. So we know that we're going to be needing build out our systems a little bit better to be able to get to that number, especially virtually not there. So, yeah.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. With we always like to try and end these podcasts with just getting your guys' input on something, because we call this the Next Deal podcast, right? The whole point is to help people find their next deal. So someone's just getting started they've been doing it, trying to get into maybe doing it full time. What's one piece of advice you'd give somebody to help them get their next deal?
You or me?
You can do it.
I can take it. Okay. I know, right? I would honestly say, don't be afraid to partner with people to get the deal done. I feel like that was one thing that held us back in the beginning, is we were like, I guess you could say we were greedy, right? Like we wanted the whole fee for ourselves or whatever. So instead of getting part of a fee, we got none of it because we ended up not doing the deal. So, and I would say that's one of the easiest ways to find your next deal too, is to partner and JV with people. And make sure you have the JV agreement in place. Don't daisy chain, right? That's different than JVing. Daisy chaining and JVing are very, very different. JVing, you're getting you're asking that wholesaler and getting the permission from that wholesaler to market their deal and partner on the deal. You have an open line of communication. You're splitting the fees, like you know exactly what's going on. With daisy chaining, you're just slapping your fee on top and blasting it out. So you confuse the marketplace when you're daisy chaining, because now people are seeing this deal for all different price points, and you just completely killed the deal by doing that. So if you JV, make sure that you do have that relationship with the wholesaler. They give you permission to market the deal. And so that when you talk to the buyer too, you don't sound like an idiot. Like I don't know where title is. I don't know anything, like it's dumb. Buyers know when you're daisy chaining a deal because you don't know anything about it. So, so when you JV, just make sure you have that permission. And you can also talk to a lot of different wholesalers and agents too, to JV and sell their deals. And if you don't have a lot of money for marketing, that's another great way to do it, because you don't have to spend money to get that deal, right? You're just putting more of your time and energy into it to find it. So that's one of our favorite ways to find deals.
It's better to have some of a deal than none of a deal, or than none of not a deal.
Or what did that one guy say? It's better to have some of the watermelon and not a grape, or what did he say?
Yeah, it's better to have part of the watermelon than the whole grape.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. That's my new favorite saying.
Yeah, it took us a little while to get there too, because we were always trying to, I don't know, because you also have to trust the person too, right?
Yeah.
To make sure the deal gets done and they do what they say and all that kind of stuff. So, and that's the other thing, is that when you're daisy chaining, you don't have that trust built either. So you can completely blow your relationship with that buyer that you're trying to sell the deal to, because now you look untrustworthy, right? So,
And you see it all the time too.
You do, all over Facebook usually. So.
Yep. I'm like, I've seen 4 people put this up. Like, no.
Like,
good.
Who has the lowest number? Who has the lowest purchase price? Because usually that's the guy that
let me
you
search the property address in this Facebook group real quick.
Yep, for sure.
I think one thing to add to the mindset of partnering, it's like, yes, I think that stands in a lot of people's way, like wanting to have the whole pie for ourselves. But also it's collaborating, but also not relying on one specific person to collaborate. So like if the person you're partnering with, like maybe it's a private money lender or something, and like they drop the ball, they're saying no to like every deal, like find another private money lender. Like you should not be reliant on 1 or 2 people, because that is what hindered our growth. We trusted specific people way too much, and that hurt our growth in the long term, because we're like, oh, he's gonna say yes, and he says no. It's like, well, we have no other options, so we lose out on a deal. So
Yep. And we relied on like 5 buyers to buy our deals instead of continually growing our buyers list. So we were not able to do a lot of deals that we should have done because we weren't growing that list and getting more relationships and networking with more people.
Interested.
So, yep. So definitely continue to grow your buyers list and network with people, and just get yourself out there a little bit more.
Couldn't agree more. I love it. Well, awesome, guys. This was a lot of fun. I appreciate you guys coming on and getting up a little early to hop on with this. Because I love following you guys on social media. You always have interesting stuff to pay attention to. So where can people follow you guys on social media and kind of see what you guys are doing?
Yeah, Instagram, I would say we're most active, and you can find us at Janelle and Don Invest. Same thing on TikTok and YouTube as well. And then we will also be at the Better Life Summit. So the REI Better Life Summit, Brandon's new real estate investing conference that he's having in May. I'm actually going to be one of the speakers. So yeah, so you can use Janelle 10 for 10% off if you want to buy a ticket for that. So yeah.
Also, we did launch a free we did launch a free community as well. It's called The Middle Investor, and it's just collaborating with a lot of people in our same essentially same scenario. Like we all know how to buy houses, but it's like we're not on the mountaintop yet.
Yeah.
So
we're not beginners,
right.
but we're also not super successful just yet. We're right in the middle. So this is for people that are just like
follow along.
Yes. Yeah. So
I've been seeing a lot of that middle investor on your guys' social.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah. We feel like it's just a niche that not many people talk about. There's a lot of stuff for beginners, a lot of stuff for like the syndicator, self-storage, massive, whatever, but not really for that middle growth stage. So we're trying to fill that void and that gap a little bit and kind of just help people grow alongside us because we're also there. Mm-hmm. So
and also like to
Very
take
cool.
our Instagram following and to make it in a more collaborative setting, because there's a lot of people even within our following that can also be a great resource for someone else too. So kind of helping each other grow. That was the purpose and the drive behind it.
Yep. So yeah, and that's just on WhatsApp, just a WhatsApp group.
Awesome.
And we're all just chatting in there. Some people are even connecting to do deals because they're in the same market. So, and if people need help with lead generation, marketing, whatever, we're all just kind of in there helping each other out. So, yeah.
Very cool. I'll have you guys send me all the links for those, and we'll include them in the show notes and everything so people can find them and make it super easy for everybody.
Cool.
Sweet.
Cool. Well, awesome, guys. Thanks again for coming on, and hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day in the most beautiful place ever. Thanks again for coming on.
Thanks for having us. We really enjoyed it. Talk to you guys soon.
See you guys.
Bye.